Okay. One of the first cool things is this, the Vivitar 28-70 f3.5 to 4.8 autofocus zoom. An autofocus lens that has the autofocus built into it, which can be used on a manual camera. And to show you how this works, I'm going to have it autofocus without having a camera on it. First off, we switch it from the off or macro focusing setting over to on, and then it's on the single focus mode. There's also continuous mode on there, but it works on appears to be like a sonar type of mechanism. And open this up wide there, and by pressing on this, I can get it to, here we go. You'd like to have something to focus on. And it gets a little beep there when it has reached what it feels is focus. Yeah. And the focus mechanism, or rather the zoom mechanism, sorry, is over on the side here. Goes from 28 millimeters to 70, and then can switch over here to macro mode. And so here I'll put this out a little bit so that it'll be a little easier to see its movement. But you can see that how it can move. Now, this lens here, this and another lens I'm going to show you were introduced, I believe, in the 1980s when they were transitioning between manual focus lenses and wanting to introduce people to taking autofocus a bit more seriously. And this was a lens that was offered, this is Nikon mount here, but it was also offered, I think, in other mounts, and I'll try and find out what other mounts it was available in. But it also had a connection here that's a regular adapter here that could fit normally into, the idea being that it could be utilized with attaching to the proper flash connection on a camera, and then, such as on this Nikon mat here, has I'll find the connections on the other side here, and that's for X and M. But the idea being that you could connect up the cable here to the camera utilizing that particular connection, and you could use the camera shutter mechanism to have the lens autofocus. Although I found that it doesn't give you a long enough signal, I don't think, to really be able to activate the autofocus of the lens. But what I did is I had got a regular, proper end here where this could be connected up, and then on the other end I had done a little soldering and attached a little micro switch so that if you were to attach this to the camera itself, perhaps even like on the back for like a back button focus, and I had a little Velcro on there at one point. By pressing it, you could activate it that way, and like so. And so that's this lens. Neat little thing for adding autofocus to a manual focus film camera. Now let me show you another one that they came out with. That's the 28-70, but they also came out with this here. This is the 75-200 Vivitar f4.5. That's a constant aperture autofocus zoom. This basically does the same thing, but gives you, of course, the range of 75 to 200 millimeters. And it too has a, I'm going to switch it on here. Switches on, put on the single mode, and it works the same kind of way. You can press that side button, or you can utilize also connecting up with the utilizing the cable method there, or using the side button. And these both utilize 3 AAA batteries each in their battery compartments, and they work fairly well. Perhaps I'll try and take some pictures with them so you can see the results. And Vivitar, they put out some decent lenses in their day, decent quality, and so and that's what these two systems are there. Another nice little thing from Vivitar that it had back in the days is this 2-power macro focusing teleconverter, which gave you not only a 2-power teleconverter, but also mixed in, when you turned the thing here, it also gave you a variable extension tube to allow you to focus in closer. And they offered this in other mounts as well. This also is Nikon mount, and I've used this in the past for a variety of work. When I wanted a nice 2-power converter to use with my manual focus lenses. Well, anyway, when you would attach a 50mm lens to this and use it with the combination of the 2-power converter aspect plus the variable extension tube. Then it can become give you the equivalent of a 100mm lens. Of course, it drops down the aperture to a couple of stops, but allows you to focus then with the 50mm lens, getting it to a 1:1 aspect ratio of shooting life size. So that made for a nice little type of addition there. The Vivitar to power microfocusing teleconverter. And again, since it's Vivitar, it produced some very nice results. Okay, here's another interesting device. Now this wasn't made by Vivitar. This was made by Nikon itself. And this is the PB4 bellows. Now normally bellows for a camera to help it add extension to do close-ups probably wouldn't be that big of a deal. They've made these for variety of cameras, but the PB4 here is a special type of bellows. It has control on the front here, on the front standard, if you will, of giving you shifting like on a view camera, and also like that in there, and also swings. And if you combine that with having it perhaps mounted like this on the tripod, then the swings and shifting can be useful for in a vertical fashion for utilizing the Scheimpflug principle to aid in helping to get more things into focus like you could do on a view camera. And on the back here, so that it can be oriented with a perhaps like this for a horizontal fashion, utilizing tilts for aiding with your, there you go, for utilizing Scheimpflug principle. So that's another interesting device there, the Nikon PB4 bellows, long discontinued, but you can still find them used in places. And with the bellows, this was originally designed so that it could take you to infinity focus if you were to put a lens of, say, about 135mm on there. Otherwise it wouldn't be able to, anything wider like this 50, it would have a hard time getting back far enough to give you infinity focus. But, and you could focus by that means. It could lock. And on the back, it gave you the ability, if you had like a auto winder or motor drive, to be able to clear the back part there. If you're utilizing a wider angle lens for some closer than infinity type of work, you could potentially bring this not only closer, so to compensate for the wide angle of view of wide angle lens, but also you can move the rear standard in like so, and on the bottom here you have your tripod mount, and you can even move this along as well. Locks on one side and then can move with the other to be able to help fine-tune not only for weight and balance, but also for aiding you changing the distance between your subject and the camera, and thus gives you some other focusing abilities that way, as well as allowing you to control the extension. So the Nikon PB4 bellows.